ARTL stock has given up a decent amount of the gains it ran up in this session of today, the 30th of June, going by this intraday high of 25.58 at some point, and what is currently at play now, 14.4, 14.37. So you can clearly see it has given up much of the gains it ran up. So the company reported positive data for its first in-human trial for a potential non-opioid treatment for persistent pain. The company said that the trial showed no drug-related adverse events and no tolerability issues. All adverse events were mild and self-resolving. During the trial, full doses were successfully explored, with plasma analysis confirming dose dependent, linear absorption, low dependent, and linear absorption. Such findings and wide observed safety margin supports a potential titration for maximum efficacy in future studies. The treatment, known as ART 26.12, is the first orally administered selective and peripherally restricted inhibitor of fatty acid binding protein to be clinically evaluated in humans, according to the company. The chronic pain therapeutics market is expected to exceed $159 billion by 2030, driven by an increasing prevalence of conditions like neuropathic pain, arthritis, and fibromyalgia. Okay, so that's what's going on. We have the underlying trend is actually it looks bearish, but it's with this gain, it's looking slightly, that's just inched up slightly. So you could just say bearish to bullish. Okay. Yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. The 10-day moving average, the price pressure momentum is seriously bullish in a very strong trend mode. All the derivatives are equally validating that strength. We can add the indicator for its 21-day moving average and see what it's saying. Let's see what it's saying down here. So all of them, you can see all the derivatives are equally positive. The 21-day moving average is in a very strong trend mode. It's also indicating is that it's going to the probability of it staying above the 10 and the 21-day moving averages is very high. So those moving averages, let me get where they are right now. The 10-day moving average is at 7.02, and the 21 is at 6.87. So the probability of it remaining above those prices in the coming sessions is very high. In the coming sessions, yeah, very high. Even though as time goes on, it's going to continue to decay. If it doesn't, if it contracts, then if it contracts with a bias to the downside, then all of that will change really fast. If it's contracting with a bias to the upside, accumulatively, then it will sustain that probability. So on this daily chart, we have higher prices are expected to remain in place up till Wednesday, the 2nd of July. You can't rely on that. That may not be the case. But if it does remain that way, then there's a good chance that it's going to remain above its 10 and 21-day moving averages. If there's any trade with regard to those, I don't exactly have that off head, but just so you know. But these are just extrapolations. There's no guarantee that they will pan out that way. But lower prices, a distributive contraction is expected to kick in by Monday, the 7th of July, going all the way towards Tuesday, the 15th of July, and then maybe a resumption. These are just extrapolations. So one more time, there's no guarantee that they will print out that way. Okay, so we can have a look at its market grid as well. There's a good chance it's trading at a huge premium to the moving average. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, the market grid hasn't, maybe if you like, hasn't really reacted that much that well to what's going on. So it's a trading at a huge premium to the market grid. The top of the market grid is the it's now a support now 7.53. So it can see where the stock is. The stock is at 14.1 and the market grid is at 7.5. So all this just indicating that there's a good chance that it might pull back into the grid and contract before we see another spike. But at the same time, it could also continue to print, But if it doesn't, surely it's going to pull back at some point. It's yeah. If not in the next trading session, then the one after that. This is yeah. Surely something of that nature. It may not come back into the market grid. It may come back as well. If it doesn't come back, then the market grid will expand to accommodate it. So let's see the 4-hour chart. And the 4-hour chart, let's begin with what the extrapolation is saying. It is saying that in this session, it's actually started doing so and pulling back and remain like that up till the pre-market session of tomorrow the 1st of July, and then after that, um, it may begin to contract. It may begin to pull back and lose ground and contract and distribute. So yeah, the trend mode, the 10 period moving averages is seriously in a trend mode, a very strong trend mode. But however, weakness is setting in. You can see you have a negative second derivative here, indicating that it may not be able to hold the strength it has. Okay, you can see here the market grid is 24.75, so it has expanded to accommodate more volatility. Yeah, it has expanded to accommodate more volatility. Yeah. We also have to point out there's the base of the grid is at 7.63, so the stock is currently trading 14.17 just on its support zone. Yeah, if you look at this, you could say maybe it has contracted and might resume the uptrend, or it may contract for some time and then maybe resume the uptrend. Yeah, but it hasn't actually retested the resistance values. You can see that 17.86 is not exactly into that resistance zone. Yeah, but what could possibly make it retest those highs? Is this news enough for it to happen to do that? You know, well, in any case, it still has the probability of it remaining above its uh, 10 period moving average is also still very high as well. The 10 period moving average is at 9.47. Yeah, 9.47. But yeah, it still has the probability of it remaining above that. But all of that can quickly change. We've seen already the stock has started to give up much of the gains they ran up, and you know very well. There's a high likelihood that it's going to pull back and sufficiently contract. Yeah. So yeah, that's what's going on with the stock. Upper projections. What do we have? We have a downward projection of 7.35 on the daily chart. I'm not sure if we saw any projections there. 7.35 is what we have here. We shouldn't expect to see anything higher than this. Yeah, down projections 2.51, 3.22, 4.36. Yeah, that's what we are looking at. I mean, it wouldn't be out of place to expect lower prices to be projected. But yeah, since it has this 52 intraday high of 25.58, it is indeed also a projection as well. It is just a price that printed in this session. So it is also something that it has a potent probability to retest, but you know what are the odds realistically? What are the odds that it's going to really retest that high? Not really there, left to you and I. But of course, never say never. But yeah, we want to. You would want to prefer to say that it wouldn't. retest it anymore. You want to be fair to say that this is over. This spike is over. The news has come out, and we'll wait for another occasion, another positive news. So that's what's going on with ARTL. Expect a rebound to. I mean, expect a contraction to occur. Expect it to pull back. So I'll continue to update you. Thank you very much for watching this video.